can I ask you about one more thing? Again, returning to LinkedIn profile images, and I'm speaking from experience here. If you don't like your own image, you don't like the way you look. Yeah, in my brain, no amount of editing is going to make me look attractive. And I'm sure that other people will relate to that. So is it still worth me investing the time in fixing my image, making myself look as good as I can?
I think you have to just take a step back. And when I was starting to do videos, somebody told me I hadn't done any yet. And somebody said to me, because I didn't like how I looked or sounded or all those things. And they said that if you go out into the world as a person networking, dealing with clients, dealing with customers every day, that's how everybody sees you. So the photo of you, the videos of you, the images of you are what everybody sees every day anyway. So if you're not, nobody really likes getting their photo taken necessarily. But if you've got a nice setting, again, you're thinking about the shot a bit, you've put yourself in a position where you're in a location that you like and you take the photograph, all you're doing is brightening up the colors. You're just you're brightening yourself up, you're changing exposure, you're just creating a slightly better visual for people to see. It's not changing you, because you can't change you and you wouldn't want to, because that's who you are, but it's just giving people the best possible version of that image that will hopefully attract the people that you want to attract. So
Yeah.
not necessarily, and also have people who aren't necessarily drawn to you kind of keep going, because those aren't the people you want to draw in anyway.
Yeah. And you and I both know Jack Ralph, and we had him on the show. And of course, one of his things is just be yourself. And
Yeah.
a lesson that I've learned through doing this, I don't like the way I sound, I don't like the way I look, but get over yourself, right? Because it's exactly as you say, I am who I am and you are who you are, and,
Yeah.
get over it and just go out
It's
there.
who we are every day. We literally go out and talk to loads of people every day, and this is what
Exactly.
it is. So
Yeah.
why you don't want to change that, because what you don't want to do, and it's the same with any editing, any retouching, you don't want to change the image so much that it's no longer what it is. You
Yeah.
want it to look like what it's supposed to be, whether that's a product, a person, a location. Otherwise, it's faking it, and people then won't trust you.
I'd like to dive into that more because we when we were preparing this, we talked about AI. And right now, a load of people are just going, I'll get an AI image and it's photorealistic and it looks like it could be real, but actually it's not reflective of the person or the
Yeah.
product or the service. It should we be using AI to create images?
I think that it's an interesting conversation I had with a couple of women from one of the groups that I'm a part of the other week, because they do use AI to put themselves into locations that they aren't in. And I think it really depends on the tool. I think if the tool is able to keep you looking like you and is just placing you in places that maybe you aren't, but you're talking about, I don't necessarily see that being a problem. The problem I have is when people are using AI to create people that don't exist, so AI models, or are using it to as a filter so that you then kind of don't look like you anymore. So skin texture, tone, all those things. And there are some images out there. There are some people out there that you see on LinkedIn where their photos are just so overdone that
Mm.
they look like they're not real anymore. And I just think that's not very representative of who you are. And if I was to then walk up and meet that person in person, you would think, oh, you might not even recognize them.
Yeah.
So we have a job to keep that
Yeah.
authentic.
I have no hair anymore, right? I'm just too old. My hair's gone. And, the whole thing of like, should you wear a wig comes into it. And I mean, of course I don't want to wear a wig, but I can just imagine if you did, and,
Yeah.
I'm married, right? But imagine you went out and you met someone and they said, oh, I really like your hair. And then you sort of take the wig off and go, oh, by the way, you're just faking it, aren't you? And it must be
Yeah.
the same for your LinkedIn image, or, you take a picture of the food that you serve in your restaurant or your takeaway or whatever, and it looks amazing. And then the real thing turns up and it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah. I think there's also a big use of people not even using their own images and just creating AI imagery of food, saying this is what it is. You can prompt whatever you want, and if your prompt is good enough, it will give you the image back. But yeah, if that's not what you're serving or how it looks when it comes out, then people are never going to come back, no matter how
Yeah.
much it's good. People will stop
Yeah.
believing what you're showing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.